Okay, wonderful. So I don't need to keep this screen up because obviously Mian did an incredible job of introducing me. Thank you so much for that, Mian. And like he said, I had the incredible opportunity to meet you and all of you guys on here at the incredible event in January, Dentistry Disrupted. And that was such a spectacular event. And you know, it's nice to see that there's events like this in this dental space because as Mian mentioned, I'm very new to the dental space, but everything that I've learned in my previous career is really about networking and building relationships. So when Hisham messaged me and said, hey, will you be a guest speaker on our, for the month of May, we want you to talk about building a network. And so for me, that's something very, very natural. It's something that I've done in industries before the dental space. And again, I've taken all of these skills and simply transferred them into the dental space. And no matter what industry you're in, they all apply. So whether you're an associate, whether you own a practice, whether you're a hygienist, whether you're an assistant, maybe you're hopping on and you're not even in the dental space, this absolutely applies to everybody in life. So without further ado, let's continue on here, and I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm going to teach you guys creative ways to build your network. Now, of course, we all know that we're at home and it's COVID, and you know, we're wanting to build our network to jumpstart our practices. But the reality is you want to continue with these skills no matter what. Because when you do that, everything around you will expand. Your social networks, your personal networks, your professional networks. And if you apply all of these skills, you're going to find that your success will increase. So we're going to go over branding yourself. So these are ways that you're going to build your network. You're going to start off by branding yourself, and I'm going to talk a little bit more of each topic. You're going to give before you receive. I'm going to talk a little bit about giver's gain and why that's important. I'm going to talk about word of mouth, how that obviously attributes to your network, leveraging social media. Now, I know we have a social media speaker tomorrow, Rachel McKay, but I have to talk on that because that absolutely adds to your network. We're going to talk about attending events, online and offline. We're going to talk about breaking onto the speaker circuit, again, online and offline now. Online seems to be very, very, very key these days. We're going to talk about getting creative with video, becoming a connector, starting a group, being consistent, engaging, and also follow up. We're going to wrap it up with following up, and that will be it. So first of all, I want to start by talking about branding yourself. So what does branding yourself have to do with expanding your network? Well, it has to do with everything. You need to know who you are, what you represent, what are you in line with, what do you want to project? So I'll give you an example. If you were to go to my business website, you're going to see on one of the pages our core values. And the core values of myself and my team, of course, are teamwork, energy, active ownership, integrity, win-win, and of course, making it fun. So for me as an individual, teamwork is absolutely important. Me working in a team, working collaboratively, that is something that's always been very important to me. So of course, I extend that into my business. So when I'm attracting people and team on my Enspire team to be a part of my network, I'm looking for these things that are very, very synonymous to my core and what I want my team to represent in my company ultimately. So teamwork is absolutely important. I want to make sure that the people on my team have that value. I want to make sure that they're energetic. You know, as Mian said, I have a little bit of energy with or without the coffee. You know, I love being out there. I love meeting people. I want the people on my team to also represent that and have and bring the same energy. Active ownership. This is something that's always important to me as well. Is, you know, I want to make sure that no matter whether you're an associate, a hygienist, an assistant, even if you don't own the practice, you still want to take ownership. You want to own your own space, your own self, and act as if it's your own company. Because when you do that, you do everything even more. When people act as if it's theirs, they take more care, they take more pride, they take more everything. So it's really important that when I'm having interviews with people on my own team, that I know that I'm going to be empowering them to own up and have their own ownership, whatever that looks like. Integrity, that's another very deep-rooted core value with myself. Also, when I'm looking for people on my team, I want to make sure that we have integrity. And again, all of these core values are things that we bring to the table. So in everyday interaction, whether it be personal, whether it be professional, I'm bringing all of these things because you never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to connect with. Whether you think that people are watching or not, they are always watching. People are always watching you. So if you are in line with your core values on a daily basis, it just becomes you, and people are attracted to that when you are in line with your true self. Next thing is win-win. So when I'm out in the world, I'm making sure that I'm not just looking after me. I want to make sure that I'm looking after the other person. So, you know, most people walk around thinking, okay, what's in it for me? And why am I going to hop on this webinar? Why am I going to do this? Why am I going to do that? They're looking like, what's in it for me? But if you reframe and you look at it as if, okay, what's in it for the other person? How can I make this a win for the other person? And of course, make it a win for me, because when you have a win-win, that's the ultimate win, when you're making both parties happy. So this is something that's really, really ingrained in our company. And when we go out and connect with people on a daily basis, again, this is personal and professional. And lastly, making it fun. If we can't have fun, then what's the point? And, you know, I have fun doing this kind of stuff, and it doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of times we take ourselves a little too seriously, and we have to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that's great. But at the end of the day, we have to learn how to kind of ease up, make it fun, because that's the vulnerability in that is what is going to connect you with people. So all of these values are things that are important to me individually. And then of course that extends into my business, that extends into my friends, into my circles, both professional, both personal. These are things that I teach my kids, my family. And in that, this becomes your brand. So how else might we brand ourselves? So think about this. What's your unique value proposition? Well, what does that mean? What are you bringing to the table that's just a little bit different or a lot different than everybody else? Well, as Mian said at the beginning in my introduction there, maybe mine is energy. I bring energy to the table. You know, a lot of times when I'm out and I'm at events and networking events, I don't talk about my company. You know, I think that when you are yourself and you exude passion, that success follows. Don't go after the money. Don't go after the paycheck. Don't go after, how many billings you have. Go after how you treat people, and go after what you're bringing and what value you're bringing to other people. And I promise you that success will follow you. So what is your unique value in all of this? So for me, that might be I bring energy, enthusiasm, empowerment, engagement. I like to connect people. I'm a promoter. I love seeing other people succeed. I don't worry about the business side. Yes, the business is important, but at the end of the day, if I look after my team, and I look after my clients, and I look after my candidates and put their needs first, then success follows. And this is the value that I bring to my network, is that I care almost more about them than myself. I wouldn't go that far, but really at the end of the day, it's really important to make sure that you know your network and you're bringing them value. Another thing is, how do others see you? So I think we all have this kind of idea of how we think we are, but how is it that others see us? And I encourage every one of you on the webinar and anybody watching the replay to talk to a couple of your best friends or your colleagues or your family and ask them how they see you. And sometimes you may get a little bit of a different response than what you're expecting. So be open to constructive criticism, and don't take it as a criticism, but sometimes people see you a little bit differently. And the way that others see you is that the way that you want to project to the world? And you really want to take a really deep look inside to see, is this who I am? Is this how I'm projecting myself? How do I project myself to the outside world? And the only way that you're going to know is you're going to ask. And if you like what you hear, and if that's the brand that you want to project, then continue. And then if not, if there's a couple things that you're like, not so sure that's what I want to kind of project myself as, then that's your opportunity for growth. And that's your opportunity to tweak your brand and how you want to portray yourself and ultimately your business. Then I want you to identify your goals. Now, identify your goals means, when it has to do with branding, it could be a simple goal as how, I want to figure out what my brand is by the end of the week. And I want to kind of make sure that I reach out to my network of people and see how they think of me and kind of start rebranding who I am. Or your goal could be, I want to increase my social media network by 50 people by the end of next week. It could be, I want to, host a webinar by the end of the month. Now, these are all things that are going to help you to brand yourself. So again, these can be kind of small incremental goals. And then of course you can do some stretch goals as well. And then you want to identify your target audience. Of course, you want to know who is your audience. Who are you speaking to? Are you speaking to all dentists? Are you speaking to your patients? Who are you branding yourself to? Because you might have to tweak the image that you're portraying depending on who you're targeting. So for example, if I am targeting my patients and I start posting on social media images of, teeth and surgery, and it's not so appealing. Now, to a dentist, that would be absolutely incredible, very insightful, probably more appealing. But as a patient, if that's your target audience, then you probably want to move away from that, because that's something that would absolutely turn them off. So decide who your mass target audience is and make sure that you're branding specifically towards them. Update your resume, your bios. Now, all of us, we all have jobs, or we all have careers. Most of us have, we own a practice or a business. Why update my resume? Well, when I say that, I mean, update your bios and your resumes on LinkedIn, on all your social media platforms, on your websites, to make sure that it's in line with your brand. Be consistent with your brand on all platforms. Become a social networker. And I'm going to get more in depth in that in this presentation. Build a website. If you don't have a website already, there are so many web designers out there that are out of work, and they are dying to do work right now. So this is a fabulous opportunity to build a website and really take some time to think about, again, what your brand is, what you want to portray, and build that into your website. Get published. Now, getting published used to mean writing a book and becoming this world-renowned author. Well, it doesn't need to be as complicated as that. Getting published, now, anybody can get published. Getting published could be writing a blog, putting out a blog per week, or putting out a blog per month, or, that it's as simple as that, is getting published, and that's going to give you visibility as well as credibility. Tend to your marketing network. That just means take care of your network. And I'm going to get more into that. Now, the next one, givers gain. This is a huge one. And I put this as number 2 because once you branded yourself and you figure out who you are, how you want to project yourself to the world, you want to go out with the attitude of giving. And this is where the law of reciprocity kicks in. You want to make sure that you give more than you receive. And if you can get into the mind frame of always looking out for other people, I promise you that the law of reciprocity will kick in and it will come back to you tenfold. I'm going to show you guys a couple images, and I want you to pause on them for a moment. So I'm going to show you the first one here. And notice how you feel, and notice the first instinct of how you feel here. Next one, this is a guy opening a door for probably his girlfriend. And then the last one here. This is a picture of obviously somebody helping a homeless person, giving them money probably. And I want you to think about, how do you feel when you see these images. And again, this is actually the definition of law of reciprocity. When someone does something nice for you, you will have a deep-rooted psychological urge to do something nice in return. Now think about it. Have you ever been in the lineup of Starbucks or driven through Starbucks and had the person in front of you pay for you? Well, I have, and it is the most incredible feeling. It's unexpected, it's nice, it's, you know, it brings out this incredible feeling, and it makes you want to do it for the person behind you. And I've done that before where I said, hey, you know what, let me buy the order behind me, unless of course it's like a whole family and they've got food and everything. But honestly, think about that. When somebody opens the door for you, a stranger opens the door for you, or somebody offers you something, or perhaps somebody pays you a compliment, doesn't it make you feel amazing? Well, there's something in chemically that happens. I mean, this is science. When somebody gives you a gesture or somebody does something for you, especially if it's unexpected, there's something called oxytocin that releases from the brain, which is known as the love drug. Now, of course, you're not going to fall in love with the person, but it gives you this kind of jolt of warm and fuzzies that makes you feel so at home and at peace and connected with the other person, whether you know them or not. So somebody opens that door, somebody gives you a nice gesture, somebody pays you a compliment, you automatically, and of course it has to be genuine. Now this is the key. It absolutely has to be genuine. If it's not genuine, then it's worse off than doing nothing at all. So make sure it's genuine. And so this oxytocin is released and you have this incredible feeling of, you know, warmth and this connectedness. And then inherently, you want to do something nice. Now, I'm talking about living your life this way. Every single day, go out in the world and think about doing something nice. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different now. We're all kind of on lockdown and quarantine. But what does that look like from a virtual world standpoint? Because it doesn't have to just be in person. How can we do this online? So it could be as simple as liking a post. Now, all of us are on social media, obviously, otherwise it's probably how you found out about this event. You're gonna like somebody else's post. That's as simple as it is actually going out there, liking a post, or better yet, comment on somebody's post. When you do that, I promise you, the person that posted it is gonna see who liked it, they're gonna see who commented on it, they're probably gonna comment back. And then if you do that enough, they're gonna start commenting and liking your posts. Why? Because you made them feel good. You made them feel special and they want to do something nice back. You didn't ask them. You simply went out of your way for generosity and they're going to do the same for you. Now, this is the ultimate. If you can share somebody's post, even better. That means that you absolutely love their post, you back them up and you're sharing something. So liking, commenting, sharing, great way to have that giver's gain attitude. Connect with people in direct messaging. So what's gonna happen on social media is you start liking, you start commenting, you're sharing posts, start connecting with people, having dialogue. Now remember, social media means social. You're being social. You're not just kind of arbitrarily liking and just liking for the sake of it. You're creating a social network as if you were in person. So treat it the same way. So if there's somebody that you've kind of built a little bit of rapport with, you're commenting on their posts and you see that you've got some synergies, connect them in a direct message. Directly message them and just say, hey, you know what, it's great to be connected on LinkedIn, would love to chat. Okay. And then you could even go as far as inviting them to do a virtual meeting. Hey, let's have a coffee over, FaceTime or a coffee over Zoom. And don't be afraid to do that because people, especially now, are looking for connection. These are all great ways to look out for people and give to people. Invite others to be guest speakers. So for example, me being invited to this event, it's amazing. It's such an honor to be here. It's such an honor to be asked by such incredible professionals and speakers and educators, and to be able to speak in front of all of you. Now, of course, naturally, I am going to want to promote this and I'm going to want to share it and I'm going to want to talk about Dentistry Academy to all of my network, of course. They didn't ask me to, but the fact that I've now built a relationship and a rapport has made me want to do it because of reciprocity. sign up for webinars when you see that, you know, your friends or people in your network or people that you want to connect with, even if you don't know them, sign up for their webinars, be present, comment, share. Really, really important to do that. Host a webinar. If you're hosting a webinar, you know, invite people to be on. Now, I have to point this out. If you're hosting a webinar and you're on social media and you are going to generically message hundreds or thousands of people on your network without being personal or without building a rapport, you're probably not going to have much of a success rate. So don't be, you know, don't be upset or don't be concerned that, hey, you know what, I'm doing this webinar, I'm super excited, I'm going to share it with all, you know, several thousands of my contacts, and only 5 people showed up. Well, chances are only 5 people showed up because A, it wasn't authentic, B, you didn't reach out to people personally, or C, you haven't taken the time to tend to your market. You haven't taken the time to tend to your network and give before you received. Now, do you see that? If you didn't give before you're asking of something, nobody or very few people are going to want to help out, because they say, like, who is this person? You know, I get messages all the time in my inbox, and you know that it's a, you know, it's a 2 pages long, and they're inviting me to a webinar, or they're trying to sell me something. I don't know who this person is. They've never liked my post. They've never commented on it. They've never reached out to me directly. They've never made an attempt to see how they can help me out. They're just asking. So inherently and chemically, I put a wall up and I think, I don't know this person, you know what, not interested. I'm not gonna take the time as if somebody were to reach out to me and say, hey, Melissa, I have a webinar, I would love for you to attend. Then I'm going to be open to do that. So keep that in mind. If you're hosting a webinar and you're not getting a lot of response, you need to put the time into your network in order to ask. Connect your network with others. Now, this is huge. We are all a social media network. We want to make sure that we're connecting our network with others. You're adding value. You're giving value by giving it. And again, it doesn't have to be a hard referral. You're simply connecting people who have synergies. And, you know, all of you guys are great at this. You've got Hisham, Vic, Mien. They're all phenomenal connectors. So I'm going to give you a perfect example of a virtual give. Now, I hope that Vic Jindal doesn't mind me using his post, because I just kind of took it and I figured, well, you put it on social media, so it's out there. And so I took it. I didn't ask for permission, but hey, I'll ask for forgiveness later. So this is a perfect example of giver's gain. So here you have, and most of you guys online here, if you're following Vic, he is incredible at doing this. So he posted a huge congratulations to Jonah on receiving the Academic Excellence Award from Dental Corp. So it goes on to congratulate him for being a rock star and all of his achievements. Now, this has nothing to do with Vic, nothing at all. He's not, you know, he doesn't work with, he's not a colleague, or he doesn't work on his team, but he went out there and he's building connections. And of course he knows Jonah. I know that he was at his Dentistry Disrupted event. And he went out of his way to post on his wall a congratulations to a friend, to a colleague, to somebody in his network. So now, what did this post do? Well, it's recognition. And when you recognize someone, again, that chemical serotonin, you can imagine that Jonah felt amazing when he saw this post. Right? So it's not, you know, it's one thing to have self-promotion, but when you have somebody else recognizing you, it is the best feeling in the world. So what's going to happen? Jonah, of course, is like, wow, you know, Vic, he's going to love Vic forever and ever and ever and always. Okay. Kindness. This post projects kindness. So for me, from an onlooker perspective, I look at this and I say, wow, like, this is amazing. Vic's a pretty busy guy. He went out of his way to do this. I mean, he's busy. You know, I don't know that Vic actually sleeps. This is probably why, because he tends to his network. He's portraying kindness to everybody else around him. It costs absolutely nothing to do this. Absolutely nothing. And what's going to happen, this is going to have a ripple effect beyond any KPIs. You can't necessarily measure it. This is, and the people who understand this, that you can't always measure everything because it's going to have a ripple effect that is so profound that it's immeasurable. So Joan is going to be a friend of his for life. All the people around him are going to say, wow, this is a great guy. And this is where the law of reciprocity kicks in. So if we can look out for ways to compliment, recognize other people in our network for accomplishments, then again, this is where success follows. And when a lot of people have a problem, or they hold back recognizing somebody else because they feel like it diminishes them, but it's actually the opposite. When you go out and you recognize other people's accomplishments, it absolutely just lifts you up even more. So congratulations, Vic. I thought this was perfect. When I saw this, I thought, yes, this is going in my this is going in my slides here. So thank you for that. I hope you don't mind, but well done on the giver's gain. All right, so word of mouth. Now, I hope we all know that word of mouth truly is the holy grail of self-promotion, okay? Think about it this way. 92% of consumers believe recommendation from friends and family over all forms of advertising. Think about that. 92% of people will believe their friends and family over everything else. So what does that tell you? If you just forget everything else, forget the social media, forget, building your network. If you just focused on your network and the people that already love you, then you are going to have, again, a ripple effect, and they're going to tell their friends and they're going to tell their family, and it's going to extend far beyond what you can imagine. So make sure that we are tending to our current network. They're already our advocates. They're already our, let's say, I want to say sales team, but they're out there. They're advocates of you. And if you treat them well, they will be, they will follow you for life, but they'll also tell their friends without even having to ask them. So how do we do that? You want to engage them. Give your patients the gift of you. Engage with them. Listen to what they're telling you. And again, make sure it's you. We don't want to be superficial. People like you because of you. You don't have to be like, Mien. You don't have to be like Vic. You don't have to be like Hisham. You don't have to be like, Jeff Sumner. They're great guys and they're amazing and they have their own personal, unique, value-added proposition and their brand, but it's not you. People connect with you because of you. So figure out what your gift is and give that away. So give that to your patients. You want to empower them. You want to give your patients different ways to talk and share. You want to equip them and give them reasons to talk. Why should they talk about you? Give them that kind of wow factor. Give them the sizzle. That's what you want to give them. So how do we do that? Well, engage. So engage right now, phone calls. It seems like my patients don't want to hear from me, but a phone call from their dentist, my goodness, who does that? What doctor calls their patient? Very, very few. And if you are the one that does, you are going to stand out. Send them a text message. Hey, hope your family is staying happy, healthy, and safe. That's it. It doesn't have to be anything else other than a true, generous message. Direct messages on social media as well. So one of the things that I like to do on social media, and this is something that is increased. I went from starting my business, my dental business a couple of years ago, and on social media, I went from LinkedIn from zero connections to over 7,000 in the first year, because I literally, every single person, and I know this sounds like it takes a lot of time, but it really doesn't. Take 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, or 20 minutes throughout the day when you have a moment, and connect with people. Hey, Sally, it's great to be connected on LinkedIn. Hope your family's staying happy, healthy, and safe. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. That's it. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not promoting my business. I genuinely want to be connected, and I genuinely want to see how I can help. Empower them with online contests, maybe share your smile and win. Engage and empower your patients. Have them on, if they're on social media, get them to engage, have a contest, maybe leave a Google review and be entered to win a $50 Starbucks card. You know, it could be something as simple as that. Equip, give your patients and network reasons to talk. So here's an example of a post that I did. This is myself and my daughter. This was a Valentine's campaign. And so this actually increased, probably within a week, I increased my network over 1,000 people in my database just by doing this. Now, obviously, it's very personal. I incorporated my daughter, my family is my kids are my life. And so I engaged my audience by having them participate. So I did a live video and then I did a picture and I said, hey, guess how many chocolates are in this jar? And so I had all these comments and I had engagement. People were engaging. It was social, again, social media, make it social. So when they're engaging, make sure that you engage back. Okay. And this is a huge part of it. If people are reaching out to you, they've taken the time to reach out to you, make sure you reach back. So it could be little contests like this. This was such a big hit. I also did this with my own Enspire team, and it was a lot of fun. Next, social media. Now I know that Rachel's going to be talking about social media tomorrow, but I would be remiss if I didn't share this because this has been a huge part of building my personal network, and it certainly should be at this time for everybody as well. So I want you to think about where the eyeballs are. Okay, so where are people looking? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Now, many of you may not heard of TikTok, but this is the new up and coming platform, usually for younger people, but pay attention. Again, this is why you want to know who your audience is and where do you find them. So let's look at these stats here. Facebook. Facebook has more than 1 billion people that are active. Expected users in 2020 are expected to reach 1.6 billion. The age group, 25 to 35 years old. So if this is your target market, you want to be on Facebook, okay? Instagram, expected users in 2020 will reach 112.5 million people. 59% of internet users are between the ages of 18 and 29, okay? LinkedIn, you see the stats here, currently have over 610 million members. 303 million active monthly users, 40% visit the site daily. Now this is huge, especially for us. If you want to be engaging with people, you want to be where people are active. 24% of the users are millennials, 38% are between the ages of 25 and 35, and 30% are the ages between 35 and 54. Okay, so for me, LinkedIn and Facebook seem to be my perfect sweet spot. Now, I don't want you to get overwhelmed with being on all social media platforms. I discourage that. In fact, I'd encourage getting really good at 1 and 2. Take 2 that you're really comfortable with and go from there. And if you're comfortable with that, then go to 3 or 4. Now, TikTok, 80 million active users worldwide. 41% of users are aged between 16 and 24, so they're a little bit younger. 56% of users are male, 44% female. So this is really, really good to know when you want to know what your audience is. 50% of the audience is under the age of 34. So if your patient base is between those ages, maybe you want to start posting some things on TikTok. Okay, so this is just another platform, again, if you're comfortable with the other ones. Start with 1 and then gradually build from there. All right, and Chinese users account for 80% of total time spent on TikTok. TikTok is actually owned by a Chinese company, so that would probably attribute to that percentage there. So I'm gonna give you guys some examples of social media. Now I highlighted social for a reason, because social media is social. It's not just throwing something out there and hoping that it sticks. It's actually engaging with people on your network or in your network. Imagine as if when you post something, imagine that you're in front of an audience or you're at a networking event or you're a live event or wherever you are and you're meeting people face to face. How would you act? How would you represent yourself? So have a look at these pictures. I'm gonna give you a moment and I want you to take a moment and look at these images. Now look at these images. Okay. Next slide. Now, I'm showing you these images because this is an example of posts that I have shared and posted over the last 6 months, six months or so, okay? So these posts are on my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook. And again, with your posts, you just, you can copy and paste on all your other platforms, or you can use like Hootsuite is a platform that you put it on one and it will disperse on all the platforms. There's so many different things out there you can help to save you time. But I want you to look at these images and take notice of where your eyes go, okay? Now, a picture is worth 1,000 words, if not more. So what does that tell you when you're posting on social media? Complex and sometimes multiple ideas can be conveyed by one single image. So again, think about social media and the social in the media. Now, what I've done with all of those posts is I've taken the generic business ones, and I want you to look at these stats here. So if you look on your post on LinkedIn, for example, in the bottom right, it says 659 views, 533 views, 946, 605. All of these posts under 1,000 views, okay? Is that good? I guess it's all relative. Now, let's go to the next bunch. These pictures or these posts got between 2,000 and 5,000 views. Now, obviously the likes are higher. You can look at all the stats. You see in the bottom right-hand corner of every single post, they've gotten between 2,000 and 5,000 views. Now look at the difference. So you've got those under 1,000 views, these between 2,000 and 5,000. Now let's go a step further. These ones got over 5,000 views, okay? So I've got my good friend Vic that I keep talking about here. I met up with him at the Arizona airport out of the blue. I didn't even know we were both at completely different events. We were guest speakers, and we saw each other in the airport. I took a picture and I posted it. Has nothing to do with business, right? But everything to do with relationship. And it got 6,688 views, okay? Now let's look at this next group here. This one got over 10,000 views. All right, so my good friend, Dr. Mian Kwek here is probably big grin on his face. Of course, everybody, you got Vic in here and his sister. Okay, over 10,000. This one got 12,988. This one got 11,000. This one's my team. Now, do you see the difference in the social media? Now, these two posts here are a lot of people. We're having fun, it's authentic, it's engaging, there's no fluff, there's actually nothing having to do with business. We all know it's at a dental event because of what I posted, but this got the most engagement, 163 likes, 132, and over 10,000 views. So what does that tell you? It tells you that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, okay? I love Simon Sinek. If you don't know Simon Sinek, go YouTube him after this. Watch something of his. He's everywhere. Okay, he's written multiple books. People don't buy what you do; they buy why you do it. So figure out who you are, what your gift is, connect with other people, and share that with people. All right, let's move along here because we're running up on time. Attend events, online and offline. All of you guys are online. This is great. Great starting point. Start attending. And connect with people who are online here. Somebody you see online, connect with them and say, hey, saw you on the webinar, or, it was great. I'd love to connect with you. Events drive business. When you go to events, it gives you the opportunity to network and interact with like-minded people. So people at those events, they're most likely going to have rapport with you because they're at the same event that you're at. They want the same things or like the same things that you do. So chances are you're going to have that instant connection and rapport. It's going to give you ideas and feedback when you're at these events. And then you have the opportunity to market yourself or market your brand shamelessly. A lot of people are afraid to go out and kind of talk about their business. Well, when you go to these events, it gives you the opportunity. People expect you to give a business card. People expect you to tell them about your business. People want to hear it. That's why they're there. So events give you the permission to be able to do that. Get out there, get noticed, brand yourself, make yourself visible, get ideas, and network with people. All right. Next thing, break onto the speaker circuit. Of course, again, my good friend Vic, is this a death of dentistry? I know he's had, I think, over 1,000 viewers here. You know, people are interested. It gives you instant credibility. And have you ever heard the term, the man with the marker makes the money? Think about that. The man with the marker makes the money. Now, the man, the woman, you know, this is just a saying, man, woman, I'm a woman, obviously, so let's put the "w" on the front of that. The woman with the marker makes the money. The man with the marker makes the money. So you look at these three professionals, these three dentists. You've got Dr. Sham, Dr. Jeff, and Dr. Mian. Now, they're incredible, incredible dentists. However, not as many people would know that unless they got on the speaker circuit. Right? More people know them because they've created a name for themselves and visibility. They have become more visible because they are speaking. They're speaking at live events, they're speaking online events, they're putting themselves out there. And let me tell you, the first couple times that you go live, it's going to be nerve-wracking. I know I felt sick to my stomach doing it the first few times, but you get used to it. Step outside your comfort zone. That's where the growth is. It's going to give you credibility. It's going to give you lead generation. It's going to position you as a thought leader. Of course, more referrals are going to come from that. You're going to get the name recognition. It's going to help you to build your resume. It's going to help you to close deals because of all the visibility and credibility. And you're going to have the opportunity to build relationships with strategic partners. So you're not necessarily going to make money at events, or sometimes you're going to do speaking events that you're not getting paid, right? Some of them you do, yes, but a lot of them you go out there, you give of yourself, you give value, and business will follow you, I promise. Video. Videos are processed by the brain 60,000 times faster than text. So if I were to post something on Facebook or LinkedIn, and I text something, chances are you're going to get less views or likes from a text than you are a picture. And then video, you're going to get even more engagement. So think about creative ways to create videos. Now, it doesn't have to be totally professional. You don't need to have a videographer. It could be as simple as taking your phone and doing a live video. People want to see what you're doing. They want to see the personal side of you. That's where they connect, and that's where the rapport is. 90% of web consumers say that a video helps them make a decision to buy a business product or service. 65% who watch work-related videos visit a business website afterwards, and 64% of people who visit a business website are likely to buy their product or service after watching a video. So keep that in mind. Moving along here, connector, become a connector. One of the first books that I read about 10 years ago on connecting, this is before I got it in the whole, networking thing, was The Go-Giver. And the story is about a guy who had this great, phenomenal business idea, but he couldn't get anywhere. He just couldn't get ahead. He worked, 24 hours a day, 24/7, couldn't get anywhere until he was introduced to this guy known as the chairman in the story. I'm not going to give it all to you, but I highly recommend everybody reading this book. And the chairman would meet with him and connect him with people. Now, the chairman was the most successful guy. The guy lived, multi-million-dollar properties all over the world. Nobody knew what he did except for the fact that he was a connector. He was a giver. He gave to people by connecting people. So think about that one. Starting a group. Okay, so you look at the Dentistry Academy. Now, you don't have to be as bold as starting a whole big training academy, but think about volunteering or getting involved with a charity. Join or create a meetup group. Meetup.com is great for meeting people, connecting with people in your community. Get out there, have fun. It doesn't have to be business related. If you like curling, join a curling club. You're going to meet people who are going to connect you to people who are going to connect you with other people who are going to want to either visit your clinic or help you in other ways. Join or create interest groups, online and offline. Join athletic teams. Join professional and dental associations and get involved. Of course, you want the professional ones, but the personal and the interest groups are just as important because those people are there. And usually when your guard is down and you're out having fun, business connections and connections in businesses made and deals are made more so than when it's forced. Join networking groups such as the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Clubs, or BNI. Here's an example of an event that Sinclair hosted. It was a Gift from the Heart, and that is a charity. And so I brought my kids there, and it was great. Do you know how many people I connected with there? I wouldn't have connected with those people had I not gone to that event. So, those people that I met there, we were there for a common purpose of giving. We gave of our time. There was nothing in return except for friendships. And those friendships are going to last a lifetime. I want you to remember this. Your network is your net worth. If you have a strong network of people, and I'm not just talking about, a breadth, you want the depth of the network and those relationships of people that can count on you and you can count on them. Wrapping up here, be consistent. How you do anything is how you do everything. Okay, think about that. Being consistent shows people that you're organized. People know what to expect of you. You create credibility. So even on social media, you want to be consistent. If you're posting every day, then continue to post every day. If you're posting 3 times a week, continue to do that. Because if all of a sudden you go offline, people are like, oh my gosh, where is this person? Can I depend on them? There's something psychological that happens to people when they see consistency. You become reliable. You become the person that has integrity. You create credibility for yourself. So make sure that you're consistent in everything that you do. Engage. I talked about social media and how, engaging in social media is social, talkative, open. You want to make sure that you're talking to people on social media. Enthusiastic and energetic. Enthusiasm trumps everything. It really does. If you're enthusiastic about something and energetic, people want to be a part of that. Persuasive, spontaneous, and impulsive. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you got to lighten up, have fun, and just engage in a fun, personal way that really shows who you are. And again, engaging meaning emotional side of you, okay? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Think about that. You could be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't care about people and they don't feel like you care about them, they won't care about you, okay? So people want to know that you care. How can you show them that you care? And finally, wrapping up to the end here, fortune is in the follow-up. I want you to commit this to memory. Fortune is in the follow-up. What does that mean? Do what you said you're going to do. If you told somebody you were going to have a phone call with them at 9 in the morning, make sure that you follow up. And if you don't, have a reason, reach out to them, let them know. Always do what you say you're going to do. Because if you commit to something and you don't do it, you've broken their trust and you are not credible or reliable anymore. It could be the littlest thing, but always do what you said you were going to do, and it's going to help create that integrity. Set up exposure after exposure and condense time between exposures. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to give you guys a sample annual follow-up campaign. So you've connected with somebody on Facebook, LinkedIn, in person. Now, you want to make sure that they remember you. So you want to follow up with them. And so in marketing, it's called touch points or like a drip campaign. So how do we make sure that we drip on people? Now, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but it's a sales and marketing term. But we want to make sure that we're dripping on our network, and we're dripping on our patients. So that means we're staying connected. So an example follow-up campaign might be give them a phone call. Then the next week or next month, you send them an email. Then you're going to send them a card or maybe an online newsletter, something in the mail. Maybe you're going to do a webinar, or you're going to have a video and you're going to send that out to them. Then maybe you do another email and another email after that. They say that it takes 7 to 10 exposures for somebody to buy into something. Think about that. It takes 7 to 10, and even now with all the social media and everything and everybody being inundated, it's actually more than that, but minimal 7 to 10 exposures before somebody buys into something. So don't just follow up once and expect somebody to come, your patients to come knocking on your door. You need to put effort and you need to tend to your market. Okay, so you're going to email them, you're going to send cards and newsletters, you're going to have maybe an appreciation event. I've seen, you know, some dental offices, they host a big bowling event, or they rent out a movie theater, or they just have a skating event, or maybe they have, you know, bouncy castles and I don't know, a food truck in front of their in front of their office, and invite all of their patients and the community. Okay, so these are ways, and another webinar. So this would be an example of a follow-up campaign. So you don't want to do the same thing all the time. You want to have variety, because you want to kind of make sure that you're keeping in touch and not being annoying. But again, 7 to 10 exposures before somebody buys into something, and make sure that you're reaching out at least these many times throughout the year so people remember you. Okay, so it's really, really important to follow up with people. So to recap, guys, you want to make sure that you're branding yourself, you give before you receive, word of mouth, huge, holy grail of self-promotion. You want to leverage social media. You want to attend events online and offline. You want to break onto the speaker circuit. You want to get creative with video, become a connector, start a group, be consistent, engage, and follow up. And guys, last quote here, what you appreciate appreciates. So go out, appreciate your friends, appreciate your colleagues, appreciate your patients, appreciate your spouse, and they will do on to you as you do on to them. Thank you very much, everybody. Here's all my social media handles. Would love, love, love to hear from you and help you out however I can. Thank you very much.